Hi friends, welcome back to another episode of the Equestrian Amateur. Today is going to be a good one. We have a lot to talk about. We shot a season 2 of Inside the In-Gate, and it was at Devon. And Devon was an incredible experience. I can't wait to tell you guys all about it because it's very juicy and it just was the greatest time. We had a lot of highs and a lot of lows. So I want to get into the nitty gritty of all of those things. And then I want to talk about just my experiences in the past couple weeks and things that I have gone through, things that we have as a team learned, developed, experienced, all of the things, and talk about my personal life and kind of what's been going on with me and some really relatable things that I think that all of us as equestrians and just people in general can go through and have gone through. And so let's dive right into it. All right, guys, I am really excited to talk to you guys about Devon. Devon was quite the experience, and I'm going to talk about why it was so, it's a super important place to me personally, and we're going to talk about that, but also just the experience of the people that I met, my team, everybody just was so wonderful, so kind. Like I said, we had a lot of highs and a lot of lows, so let's go ahead and just like dive right in, you know what I'm saying? So why is Devon so, it's very personal to me. So I grew up around that area. So my dad actually lives about 30 minutes away from Devon. And so my parents are divorced. And so my mom moved when I was about 3 years old down to Georgia. So I was traveling back and forth, and my horses actually came with me over the summer to PA to train with John Muldoon. And so that is actually where you'll see where this is going. But I trained with John Muldoon for many, many years, and he actually found me 2 of my horses. And so Devon was always a really special place to me because it kind of felt like a little slice of home. It was a familiar place. It was a place where I felt like just comfortable. And so if you have never experienced Devon, and if you have, I want to hear about it. I would love to hear about, like, in the comments what y'all's experiences were. If you've ever been, if you've ever showed there, if you even just, Lord, there's a plane or something. It's been a wild day. There's like been a fire down the road. There's like planes happening, I guess. Like, yeah, there's a helicopter. So there was a house fire here, like right down the road. And it's just been like fire truck after fire truck, now apparently helicopters. So anyways, I apologize. Squirrel. So it's been a very special place to me. And if you guys have or have not been there, I would love to hear about it. And it's cool because you have to qualify to be there. So when I first made the decision to pick Devon as our next docuseries location, I knew that it was going to be important to people because you have to qualify. And qualifying for a horse show, I think, is always adds like another level, right? It always like adds another level of stress or anxiety or excitement around that show. And I think for a storyteller like myself, I think that's always, it adds a bit of excitement. And so interviewing people for Inside the In-Gate season 2 at Devon was really, really fun because I just got to hear so many great stories. And it's always so difficult to select people when you are doing something like this because everybody's story is so valid and so wonderful, and it means so much to everybody. And I think that is really, really important, and the whole reason why I'm doing this. So as I said, Devon is a special place to me and a special place to a lot of people. So like I said, we interviewed a lot of great people, but I also think that I wasn't really expecting the experience that I got. I don't really know what I was thinking, like how it was going to be when I went as, you know, the producer of a series like this. I didn't know how people were going to handle it because look, here's the thing. When you are in this position and when you are a creator and when you are doing a project like this, you will get very polarizing experiences with people. Either people really are excited that you're there and they're so pumped, they're elated, they want to be a part of it, or they're like, don't want to have anything to do with it. So we experienced both. But I would say majority people were very, very excited that we were there. And it's like, it's such a humbling and incredible experience for people to be passionate and excited about a project that you have put together. I would imagine it being like, your child, people being excited about your child's dance recital or supporting your child, something like that. Or people coming to your horse show, or it's always just makes you feel good when people are supporting you, right? And a project that you're really passionate about. And so I think that that was a huge shock to me. Like, I really didn't know how people were going to take to it, if people were going to be really accepting and warm, or if they were going to be kind of standoffish, because you just never know. And that's not only just the subjects. Like, the subjects we had multiple conversations with, we kind of knew going into it, like, what to expect with them. And we knew they were all great and they were really excited, but we just didn't know how, the community or the staff or anybody else was going to handle it. You just don't know. So everybody was great. Everybody was so great. And people that were even in attendance of the show, they were curious. They wanted to know what we were doing. They wanted to support us. And it was just awesome. It truly was. And I think the more and more we do this, the people we get a more and warmer welcome, I guess. There were some people that weren't super loving it, but that's okay. You're always going to get that. And so I think what you can expect coming out of season 2. So what you can expect coming from season 2 of Inside the In-Gate is this season is going to be, I just don't even know where to begin. It's going to be so relatable. I think that's the thing that I really wanted to hit home for this, is that, it's such a humbling experience, because like I said, you go there and it's the top of the top. Like, it's the top in our sport. And so it's like you're seeing animals and riders that are getting, in the 90s consistently. They're just producing trips and they're producing rounds that are so beautiful and so magical that you're just like, oh my gosh, like, I can't even believe that I get to watch this, experience this, let alone follow these people. And so, but the craziest part was that everybody's so down to earth. Like, everybody is so real. And when they make mistakes, or when they, when they screw up, or when they do something, their horse acts up, or their horse isn't their best, or there's no BS. And I think that you guys are going to be really happy to see that. And, a lot of the comments when we talked about doing season 2 is that, a couple people had mentioned that they wanted to make sure that we're following real people, or real amateurs, or real professionals, or people that aren't just top of the sport and just unattainable. But that's the whole thing. That's the whole thing for me, is that we followed Nick Hannes and Matthew Jenkins, who are at the top of their sport, and they are so down to earth. They are so real. They talk about the struggles. They talk about the realities of the sport. And I think people are going to be really happy to see that, and just really, really excited to know that it's not all just rainbows and butterflies all of the time. It's not just a social media reel highlight, right? And I think that that's where people get really mixed up in this, is that they just see the social media highlight reels. And that's what the show is all about. It's not about the social media highlight reels. It's all about things that shit goes wrong. Things happen. Your horse isn't at its best. You're not at your best. And that happens to each and every one of us. I also want to talk about the amateurs that we followed, because they are always such a huge piece of this project and such a big place in my heart, because I am a fellow amateur, so I love that. And so they always hold a special place to me, because I feel like I can relate to them really well. And because they are like me. I'd love to go show at Devon, obviously. And so do they, because they were elated to be there. So Piper Clem, who owns the Plaid Horse, was one of our subjects. And her horse freaking is the most adorable thing you'll ever see, as well as Hannah Purnell's horse Goose. So we had Ruben and Goose as our 2 amateur horses, and then Piper and Hannah were our 2 amateurs that we followed. And both of them were just, I can't wait for y'all to see it. Truly, I think that everybody will see themselves in these riders and realize that whether you're looking at the professionals or you're relating to the amateurs, that you see yourself in each one of these characters and each one of these subjects, because, it's not the sport is really hard. It's not easy. And you're going to see the struggles. You're going to see the excitements. You're going to see the highs. You're going to see all of those things that we all go through as riders. And, you know, dealing and working with the amateurs, it just hits so home for me. And I could just spill the tea and talk about everything that happened. But I'm not going to do that because you guys have to watch it. But I think that you guys are just going to be so thrilled to see how wonderful these human beings are, and the love they have for their sport, the love they have for their animals, and it's just incredible. So I want to talk about the actual shooting of the series and how that was just when you're in those types of situations and you're shooting something like that, it's honestly all just a blur. You don't know what day it is. You don't know where you are. You don't know what's happening. Did I eat yet? Have I had enough water? Who knows, right? Like, because it is just a shit show most of the time. Not in a good way, like in a shit show in all of the best ways. So, you know, the first day we were there, we got there on Wednesday. So it was the high performance day for all the professionals. And so it was, for some reason, apparently, the bad weather likes to follow this horse show around. So Devon is classically known to have like shit weather, and it held true for Wednesday, and it rained all day. And it wasn't like a downpour rain. It was just like a spitting rain all day, and it was freezing. It was freezing, like so cold. And so I haven't shot in conditions like that in a really long time, like back to like my wedding days. And it was brutal. In the beginning of the morning, Charlotte, who is my social media manager, and she is a doll, and we had the best time. She was cold the whole time, but I was like, you know what? No, like we got there, woke up at 4 a.m. To arrive by 5 so that we could watch everybody warming up and getting ready and all the things. And so it wasn't that bad in the morning. Believe it or not, it was like, okay, like we had multiple layers on, we had a rain jacket on, everything was fine. Well, probably around like 9:30, 10 o'clock in the morning, I was about ready to throw in the towel. I was trying to like either photograph or film or do whatever. And I was like shaking. I was so cold. It was really rough. It was pretty brutal, but it's okay. Because the riders made it so worth it, and the content turned out so amazing. And I just want to give a shout out to the production company that I teamed up with for this project, Scrapyard Media. So Brad and Bobby and Katie came out from Scrapyard. They are from Michigan, and they just crushed it. And they had no experience in the horse world. They had no idea, anything about horses. They learned a lot. They definitely learned a lot. And I specifically wanted to use a production team that was outside of the equestrian world. I did that intentionally because you guys know I'm in marketing. You guys know I create content. You guys know what I do. And I just could not deal with the same pieces of content that are getting produced all the time. So I wanted to bring somebody in that had no prior experience and no previous knowledge of what this world was like, and shoot it in the way that they would shoot any other sport. So, and I think we accomplished that so well. But yeah, the first day was really brutal. It really made me question my whole existence because I was so freezing and I was just really going through it. So, but it's okay. We got it worked out, and yeah, it was rough, but we did work through it and worked out some beautiful content. And then the next day was much better. So that was good. The next 3 days, it was no rain. It was just a little cloudy, maybe some wind, and but mostly sunshine. So I'm very thankful for that. Thank God. But shout out to them. They did an incredible job. I can't wait for them to do another one. I want to do it again. Like, let's do it. So Wednesday was definitely one of the hardest days. Thursday ended up being a gorgeous day. It was still a little on the cold side, especially coming from the south where, it was like in the high 80s, and then going into like, the high is like 55. You're like, wow, wasn't ready for that. So, and I also want to talk about, so we were gone from Tuesday to Sunday, And so it was a long trip. It was a long time to be away. And it, as you guys know, I have the horses at home. I have my husband. I have a whole life here. And so being away for that long on a project is tough. But, it's part of the gig. It's part of it. But I definitely would be lying if I said that it wasn't, it's like when you have your head so far in a project and you're dealing with it, you're going through it. It's like I feel like my husband's so great and he's so supportive, but like I have to like get my bearings back. Like it took me a couple of days to like get my head back to being home when I got home. And I have a great team that watches my animals while I'm gone. So that's always like just game changer, truthfully. And the experience of shooting this series is, it's always really eye-opening because like I feel like you kind of immediately know, because we reached out to a ton of sponsors. Like I think I sent out over like 150 emails to sponsors. And, when you're dealing with a project like this and again, we work with clients on a daily basis. We have a great group of clients that we, produce for and do marketing for, create content for, all the things. So when I speak to them about, starting from the ground up with these different types of projects, like I'm speaking from experience, right? Like I do these things on my own, and I've had enough experience in my career to really lend a helping hand when people are either in their business and starting to do something new, what that's going to look like, how to make, pave the way if you have a goal and you have a mission in mind. So, we reached out to about 150 sponsors, and I think that we got responses back from, I would say, maybe 30% of them. And when you're working on a project that's really new like this, not a lot of people like know what to do with it. They're not really sure. It's a new thing. They're going to watch you. And I would say most of the time when you do email people, they do see it. They just aren't responding to it. And so they're going to watch you from afar. And I think that either you can take the perspective of that's going to like motivate you, or that's going to, make you crumble because you now know that people have their eyes on you. And I always like to take that as a challenge because I like to step up to the plate. We did get some great sponsors who I'm very excited to talk about, but it is frustrating when you believe so much in a project and you're really struggling to, work with people that you believe in and that would be a good fit for the project, and they're just not they just aren't fully, they just don't really want to fully consent or like approve of it yet because they're like bet on you yet because they just don't know. And that's fair. I think that's valid. That's very fair. But I do think that in terms of marketing and the way that we're going to see things shift and change, this is how the revolution is going to happen. This is how things will change in the equestrian marketing world because it cannot continue to stay the same. It just won't. So I do believe that, we will see a shift, and this is, I do believe, the shift that we need. And I think that selling to equestrians is not going to look the same in 5 years as it does right now. And I am so pumped for that. I can't even tell you. But I actually was sitting down with a client today, one of our consulting clients, and she said something really interesting, and I wanted to share it with you guys, that, this brand that I had reached out to about the series, she is a person that is starting a brand for women that are later in life, maybe in their midlife area, later midlife, and still an equestrian, either getting back into it or still doing it as an amateur. And she's speaking to those people directly, and she said that she really liked a certain brand story, and that she felt that brand representation was for her because their story fit hers so perfectly. And she said, but the thing that I found so interesting is that their content and what they put out on social media doesn't represent my demographic at all. It's all like young, beautiful white women. And I found that really interesting. And I was like, well, funny enough, that's really what we're trying to change. We're trying to change that. If you have a great brand story and you're representing it just as everyone else is, how are you going to set yourself apart? You're not. It's just not going to happen. So I think that brands need to take a hard look at that and really notice that everything is starting to look the same, and if your ideal target demographic is even noticing that your messaging is not correct or that it's not speaking to them and that's making them not buy, that's a problem. And you need to notice that. Also today, I have my baby Essentia and my coffee. So I'm hydrating and dehydrating all at the same time. That's the key to life right there. No, because I didn't actually get to drink my coffee until later this morning. And so I just, I treated myself to a Starbucks because that's what I really wanted. I also have these cool cards now that have like notes on them and things. So I feel really legit. And I actually brought them to Devon and I forgot them and didn't get to use them. So it's fine. Not bitter. So I think that as a community, you know, I want to hear what you guys feel about how you're being sold to. How are you being sold to? How do you feel like you're, you know, being spoken to on social media or in equestrian marketing in general? Because I think that's important. I think that's important to get feedback on and for brands to actually know and understand what, you know, like who they're speaking to and why they're speaking to them and why, like what the benefit would be to actually speak to these people correctly and not do what everyone else is doing. Like, can we just like stop doing that? I mean, I'm just going to keep talking about it till I actually start seeing it change because it's just so annoying. So this is actually, you know, something that I really also have a lot to say about. So I saved it to the end because I really just felt like it's such a big topic and I want to talk about it because I do feel like this is a big prohibitor as to why brands are so afraid of stepping out and doing things differently because of the internet bullies. So, oh man, I just like, I truly, this is just such a tough subject for me because I relate to it so much and I think it's such horse shit, no pun intended. And I think of there are certain creators that are out there. We know them. We don't have to point them out. It's truly it's a disservice to all of us as a community to point them out or to recognize them or name drop them in any way because it's just drawing more attention to them. And I just refuse to do that. So I do believe that when you are dealing with people who are, you know, trolls on the internet, if they're going to post content about you, if they're going to, you know, be in your comments, if they're going to be in your DMs, whatever it looks like, right? I want you to completely ignore it. I want you to completely ignore it. And I feel like that is if you give them any ounce of power by responding back to them and responding back to any negativity, you are giving them power. And I firmly believe that. And so I think that this community kind of lives in fear because of these people. And I've had so many conversations about this. And because it's a topic that I'm heavily involved in because I own a media agency and these people are in the media and they are controlling the narrative or trying to at least. And it's just bullshit. And not even just coming from a brand perspective, right? Like not even just coming from, okay, like let's create creative content and speak to our target ideal audience. Let's talk about it from like a personal perspective. From a personal perspective, even dealing with this project inside the in-gate and shooting this, and I have gotten a lot of comments and a lot of negativity surrounding it. Not majority, definitely a very small amount. But, you know, I understand that this sport is always going to be a little bit sensitive. It's always going to bring and breed sensitivity. And because you're dealing not only with a large animal, but you're dealing with people who all kind of have like pretty similar personality traits. I think that when you're a horse person, I think that you are a certain type of person. And not saying that's negative or positive because I am that too, but I do feel that sometimes that there are people that feel that they just want to interject, right? They want to interject their own opinions, their own thoughts, They're, you know, whatever. I even like, I literally make parodies about this all the time. You guys know. So, and the problem with this is that whether you are an individual that wants to create content, whether you are a media agency that, you know, people feel that I have power or I have a voice or I have control over something, right? I don't. Like, I have control over my own narrative. I have control over what I am putting out to the world. I am responsible for that. If you have an opinion about it, you have your opinion. I think that's great. You should. If it's a negative opinion, that's totally fine. Don't share it with me because I don't give a shit. I don't care what your opinion is about either something that I'm doing or something that I've done or someone that I've interacted with, whatever. Because at the end of the day, I am producing content with people that I believe are align with me and align with my values and align with what I want. And everybody should be doing the same. Sometimes, yes, in life, you try to align with certain people. It doesn't work. Not a problem. You don't have to write about it on the internet. You definitely don't. I don't encourage that. But I also think that, you know, if you are feeling as if you are protecting someone or if you feel like, oh, I'm going to share this with them because I want to protect them. No, you're not protecting them. You're not. You're spreading gossip, you're spreading rumors, and you're spreading things about people that have supported me and supported my team and supported my mission and what I've wanted. And that's just unacceptable. So, and I just respectfully will not stand for that. So I think politely decline those things. And it doesn't mean I think anything, you know, negative about that person or negative about, you know, a group of people that feel the same way. That's fine. Everybody is entitled to their own opinion. And I think that that's great. But at the end of the day, when you're dealing with large audiences, such as, you know, people that are brands that have big audiences and they're just afraid to tiptoe around to speak what they really feel, you know, that's only doing you a disservice. And no matter what is going to happen, whether you do the right or wrong thing in your mind, people will always have something to say about it. That is a risk, and that is the downfall of putting yourself out there on the internet. And if you're not willing to do that, then just don't do it at all. Because if you're not going to align with the right messaging and you're not going to align with the right voice for your brand, like, why even do it? Like, it doesn't make sense to me. And it's just upsetting because I really feel like this sport just is getting lost in all of this negative narrative. And it's funny though, because like, you know, the thing that I took away from shooting Devon is that like when you're there and when you're in that environment, same with WEC, same with WEC. When you're in that environment, it's like you're in this like peaceful little bubble and there's like nothing can get you. Like there's no negativity. It's all love. It's all support. It's all people lifting people up. It's not until I left that I started getting negativity from the outside world. And it's just so sad. And whether that comes from jealousy or whether that comes from envy, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Because I feel like at the end of the day, if you are envious or jealous about someone being in a position that you're not, then you just need to work harder to get there. I mean, truthfully. And if it's not in the cards for you, make it. Make it in the cards for you. Make it happen. And that is my personality. That is what I believe. That is why I have gotten myself to this place in life. And if it's not your personality to have that perspective, I encourage you to implement in that piece of, or that characteristic into you as much as you can each and every day, because you will only stand in the way of you. So, I mean, unfortunately, right? Like, it's nice to blame other people. It's easier to blame other people when you're not where you want in life. It is just a very common thing, not in just the horse world and anywhere. It's so much easier to blame other people and tear other people down rather than flipping the camera on you and saying, okay, what's going on with me? Like, why am I feeling this way? Why am I feeling like, you know, I am jealous or I'm envious or, you know, whatever it is, right? Yeah, I just firmly believe that. And I just going back to the bully thing, because I've talked to a lot of people about this, and I just want to make sure I cover it enough and just making sure everybody understands how I feel about this. And then I've done a couple of videos about it, but it's just not going to fly in my audience, in my circle, in my group. Like, it just won't. So the minute I start to see negativity, you know, that TikTok sound, blocked. Like, seriously, I will block you. And because I'm not going to put up with it. And I feel like if we would have implemented that from the beginning, and the twisted part of this whole thing is I think that sometimes, like, you know, while, like, you know, Kim Kardashian always says there's no such thing as bad press. If they're talking about you, they're talking about you. And so it's a good thing, right? So I'm not a big believer in that, but I understand that that's a huge tactic and that it could be very, very positive and can turn positive. I don't love that strategy. Like, I wouldn't implement that with clients, but like, I understand that it works. Because at the end of the day, like, these bullies and these trolls, they are making money off of the drama. Like, they are literally making a living off of the drama and off of, you know, causing clickbait and causing all these things. And like, that's the thing that I don't understand is like, when you're consuming these pieces of content, I really want you to like think about it. Like, think about what you're seeing and what you're doing and what you're consuming, who it's coming from, and why is it being created. And I think that's like really hard. Obviously, I have a very different perspective. I do this for a living, but like, so the more you feed into it, the more you talk about them, the more like it is just building and building and building. And it's just lifting them up, and you're just supporting them at the end of the day. And people don't think about it like that. And so, and I feel like that sometimes it feels almost like a honor to be talked about by these people, because they're like, oh, I must have made it if I'm getting talked about by this person. And if you have the perspective, like, whatever, that is not my motive. That is like not for me. I just don't condone it. Like, I feel like the more, like I said, the more power you give them, they're just making money off of you. The more turmoil that they cause, they are just benefiting from it. It's just the reality of the situation. And that's just the cold, hard truth about social media, that there are just so many clickbaiters out there that will just create drama for no reason. And it ruins people's lives. For what? For $1,000 could they make off views or some, like, cause no one's going to sponsor them, right? Like, nobody wants to be involved with that, but like, they're getting money off of views. So you guys are just falling into the trap. Like, get off the train. Block the person. Get out of that situation. Like, truly. I just like don't understand, but it's okay. It's not for me to understand. It's not, I'm just giving you my own personal advice, and I'm just letting you know that if you decide to bring negativity into my circle, it's not gonna fly. So, I don't care what your perspective is. I don't care, I don't care. So, and the last thing I want to leave you with today is, I feel like this episode is like a venting session. Like, it's like up and down and like highs and lows and drama and excitement. It's making me tired. But so the last thing I want to say is I want to kind of full circle talk about Inside the In-Gate, because it's just such a passion project, right? Like, I just believe in it so much. I truly, truly feel like everything that I have done in my career and like worked up to in my career, I truly believe has led me to this point, because I have done a lot of crazy things with my career, and I'm very proud of a lot of them. And being able to manage something like this and manage working with top tier in our sport, working with people that, are the best at what they do, whether they're a trainer, whether they're a groom, whether they're a rider, whatever they are, I just feel so honored to work with them. And I I just want this to be a reminder for anyone out there, whether you are going through something as a rider, as a woman, as an entrepreneur, as anything, right? Like, I just want you to remember that no matter how crazy you think the dream that you have is, it's not crazy enough. And I know that sounds so cliche, right? Like, I know that sounds stupid, and I know what it sounds like. Okay, like, I get it. But I also know the reality, and I also am on the other side. Maybe not as far as I want to be yet. Maybe I'm not to the goal I want to be at yet, but I'm getting closer every freaking day. And I just see so many wonderful human beings that just have so much to offer the world, whether that's big, little, doesn't matter. And they just don't believe in themselves, and they don't believe that it's possible. They don't believe, you know what, honestly, my husband being one of them, who I am still working on, because every crazy antic that I bring to him and say I'm going to do, he's like, you're fucking nuts. And I'm like, you're right, I am, but I'm going to do it. And sometimes that quote of "you're fucking crazy" is enough to just light a huge fire in my soul to believe in the project even that much more. And trust me, my husband is extremely supportive, so let me just, no shade his way at all ever. But it just, sometimes it just really is like, you feel like you're absolutely crazy. And I think when you, like, walking into Devon, I was like, what the hell am I doing? And, you know, and then you walk away from it and you're just like, oh my God, like, I can't believe I just did that. Like, I can't believe I just did that. And I worked with Nick Hannes, and I got to work with Piper, and I got to work with Hannah, and I got to work with my dear friend Matt. And like, I just, like, it just felt so surreal. And I've produced a lot of things in my career, and I've done a lot of things. I just shot a cookbook, which was another really surreal thing for me, it's like a heart. I don't even have a copy to show you guys, but it's like a real legit book. Like, it's not like they're going to sell it like at Anthropology, hopefully, cross your fingers. And to have my name on there is just so incredible. And so I just want to just reiterate and just say, walking away from this episode, I want you to believe in yourself, and I want you to believe that whether you're working through your riding career as an amateur, whether you're working through your career as a professional, whether you're working through your struggles as a mom, as a woman, whatever you're doing, that I support you, and I think you're doing a great job. And I truly believe that anything is possible. And I'm not blowing smoke up your ass. I truly mean it. And I truly believe that if you have a goal and you have a dream, anything is possible. So I'm going to leave you with that today. And I hope you guys enjoyed this episode, just to chat. And I'm going to be back for some more solo episodes. We have a lot of great things coming up, y'all. Like, just some fun shit. And I'm just really excited about it. And so stay tuned. And I love all of you. All right, guys, thanks for joining us on this week's episode of the Equestrian Adult Amateur. We always appreciate you guys hanging out with us. We know your time is valuable, so make sure you go ahead and hit the subscribe button, and make sure you're also on our email list so you can keep tabs of everything that we have going on, which we know is a lot. So we look forward to seeing you guys next week, and please drop a comment of what you guys think about this episode, share it with a friend, and make sure you hit the like button.